Donald Trump once said he wanted to drain the swamp, that he has the best people. Yet, of course, we know that actually Donald Trump is the swamp and does nothing but fill it with people who are not the best people. And in this breaking story, yet another one of Donald Trump's cabinet picks is in trouble and charged and has to cough up money and settle a criminal fraud case. Only this time, it's the person related to commerce, because Donald Trump isn't out to help the American people. He isn't America first, he's me first. And he's literally putting people in the position to drain the U.S. Treasury over the next 4 years. Take a listen to this.
Under my administration, we're fighting against the lobbyists, the special interests, and the corrupt Washington politics. We are going to Washington, D.C., and we are going to drain the swamp.
I have the best people. I have the best people. I have the best people.
They're sending people that have lots of problems.
Joining us now, Howard Lutnick, CEO of Cantor Fitzgerald and co-chair of the Trump transition team, and long and dear friend. Howard, thank you for coming on.
Believe me, they're bringing crime.
But I know that you, as a senior Trump advisor.
So there's two ways to do it. You partner with Elon Musk, the Department of Government Efficiency.
Mm-hmm.
You're fired. You're fired. Go home.
He's playing over dragon.
You're fired.
You're all fired. You're fired.
Ultimately, the best messenger is the president himself.
You're fired.
I'm on Team Trump.
Your face is a great man. You're fired.
Somebody has to be the president's pit bull.
You're so stupid. You're fired.
Tom, you're fired.
Every critic will have to bow down to President Trump.
You're fired.
What is the dangerous and murky deep state that President Trump keeps talking about? When you hear the term deep state, what image does it conjure up?
Less than 3 weeks after winning the race for the White House, President-elect Donald Trump's cabinet is coming into shape. The picks must go through Senate approval, and some Democrats are calling for background checks on Trump's choices.
He has fooled so many Americans, it is staggering. And the continued narrative of I have the best people and watch out for the deep state, and yet who he is putting into government the second time around, 4 years wiser in the White House and 4 years wiser since the White House, he is doing nothing but setting us up for a bunch of white-collar swamp people who are going to be loyalists and do what he says. And in this breaking story, his chairman of the transition team and his cabinet pick for Secretary of Commerce, Howard Lutnick, just got slammed for the way he runs his company. Take a listen. The SEC charges Cantor Fitzgerald, led by Trump's commerce pick, with breaking security laws. Key points. The Security and Exchange Commission charged Cantor Fitzgerald with violating laws related to disclosure by so-called blank check companies before they raise money from the public. Point 2, Cantor Fitzgerald's chairman and CEO, Howard Lutnick, was recently nominated by President-elect Donald Trump to lead the Commerce Department. Point 3, the SEC said that Cantor agreed to settle the case by saying the firm would not violate the relevant security laws again and pay $6.75 million civil penalty. CNBC reports breaking Washington. The Security and Exchange Commission on Thursday charged global financial services firm Cantor Fitzgerald with violating laws related to regulatory disclosures by so-called blank check companies before they raise money from the public. Cantor's chairman and CEO, Howard Lutnick, was recently nominated by President-elect Donald Trump to lead the Commerce Department. Lutnick is also co-chair of Trump's transition team. The SEC, in order released Thursday, found that Cantor caused two blank check companies, which are also known as SPACs, to falsely deny in regulatory filings having had contact or substantive discussions with potential merger targets before those SPACs' initial public offering. SPACs are shell companies that have no underlying business before they potentially merge with a target company that has business operations. The SEC said that the team of Cantor executives and employees of Cantor Subsidies searched for potential companies for two SPACs to merge with and had substantive discussions with potential targets. Those discussions occurred before the blank check companies were registered and began their IPOs. In quotes, this enforcement action reflects the straightforward proposition that any disclosures about substantive discussions with potential targets must be materially accurate, said Sanjay Wadhwa, acting director of the SEC's Division of Enforcement, on Thursday. Also in quotes, Cantor Fitzgerald misled investors about critical investment consideration by repeatedly stating in public filings that it had not identified or approached any potential merger targets despite having had substantive discussions with several private companies regarding a potential merger, including the companies with which SPACs eventually merged, Wadhwa said in a statement. Cantor spokesperson Erica Chase, in an email to CNBC, said, "No investor was ever harmed by the alleged issues described in the order. We are pleased to have concluded this matter by mutual agreement with the SEC," Chase said. The Trump transition did not immediately reply to a request for comment on this case. In the movie Rounders, Matt Damon's character, who's a professional card player, says if you can't spot the sucker in the first 20 minutes at the table, you are the sucker. And that's how the American public is going to feel soon. And I'll quote yet another line from a Don Henley song, Dirty Laundry, when he said, "A man with a briefcase can steal more money than a man with a gun." And we are witnessing it as we speak. Stay frosty.